Western Sydney. Sekarang nama dia dah Western Sydney University. Ini logo dia. W. Okay. Di sinilah saya selama setahun daripada 2009-2010 buat Master of Professional Communication, dan saya struggle untuk finish paper, struggle untuk improvekan diri saya, struggle untuk menambahkan knowledge dan skill saya dalam ilmu saya dalam hubungan awam dan komunikasi. And this is where I am now again to give talk pada juri-juri saya di sini. I was invited to give a talk to motivate them how can they survive and to move forward in the industry. InsyaAllah saya akan bagi yang terbaik wakili Malaysia, hidup Malaysia.
He studied with Western Sydney University in 2010 and completed his Masters of Professional Communication on Kingswood campus. A lot of these students here today are new, or you currently enrolled international, or a few sessions down already on the nods. Okay. So Shebs is visiting Australia on a holiday and would like to get back to the university in some manner, and we invited him to come and speak with international students to give you all a perspective of what it is to be an international student and the journey that you will be embarking on from here on in terms of your professional life. And after a quick presentation from Shebs, the careers team is here with us today to talk about some strategies to enhance your graduate outcome and to improve the chances of finding jobs and being job ready when you finish your degree. And there are some quick activities that are planned as well for you guys to work on, so that's going to be quite useful for you. So let's welcome Shebs, and I'll quickly pass over to his presentation.
Sure. Right, good evening everyone. I would say that thank you Ms. Ramya for the invitation for me to come here, and thank you to all of you, and welcome to WSU. I would say that I'm your senior in 2010. I graduated from the School of Humanities and Communication in 2010. I was here for about 1 year for 2 semesters and completed my Master of Professional Communication in 2010 and went back to Malaysia. So basically, welcome. I heard that majority of you are new students who just came yesterday, right? So welcome to the campus, welcome to the university. It's good to be here actually. It's like the last time I came here was about 5 years ago, 2013, where I came back for a holiday because I really miss the university, I really miss Sydney, and this is the time I can be here in the campus once again. Okay, and thank you to Ms. Ramya once again, Mr. Josh, Ms. Priyanka, and also Ms. Jackie. Alright, the reason why I came to WSU, previously known as UWS, Institute of Western Sydney, and now known as Western Sydney University, was because of my first trip to Sydney in 2007, where I had 2 trips in Sydney for vacation actually, and I went to the Blacktown campus because I have a friend there who is also a lecturer in WSU. I love the campus over there because it's so lovely, it's so scenery, and I fell in love with the campus. Okay, and then later on in 2009, I told my mom that this is my family over there, my mom and my sisters. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, and I told my mom that it's time for me to further my studies, to increase my skills and knowledge, because I already had about 7 years working experience in the corporate world and doing lots of things in public relations and communication. So I decided to further my study here, not in Malaysia, but here in Sydney, in Western Sydney University. And when I first came here, I had because I'm an Asian student, I'm from Malaysia, like an inferiority complex inside myself, because I'm Asian, and some of the Asian are very lucky, they are very tall, I'm very short. And basically all my course mates, they are very tall, they are taller than me. So I said I have the sense of inferiority complex, how to want to mix around with them. So the thing is about me, I look fierce on my face, but I'm a funny kind of person. So there, where I created a group of friends where we were together. It's a mixture of a culture actually. I have me myself, I have Krisma from Philippines, I have Eva from Germany, and also Kalisa from Barbados. So the 4 of us combined in one group, in anything that we do, we did it together. and we call ourselves as the team, the Benetton team. Do you know Benetton? The brand. United Colors of Benetton. So it's a mixture of 4 colors inside the book. It's 4 colors. I can say that I'm dark. Krishma from Philippines, she's quite fair. Eva from Germany, quite fair. And also Kalisa from Barbados. So it's a mixture. So that's where the 4 of us created the sense of sharing culture together. Sharing culture. And at the same time, we have few students from Canada. And they are very, very interested to know more about Asian culture, and also the Aussie students over here, they really want to know about Asian culture. At the same time, Asian students like me, they want to know about the Australian culture. So when I was here in Sydney, in Western Sydney University, the name that all my classmates given to me, the machine. You know why? I do not know how to stay put. I do not know how to stay doing nothing, because for the past 7 years working in my working experience, I don't know how to stop. I love my job and I love to do things. I don't know how to stop, and that's where during the first week of the first semester, I completed my first assignment, whereas the deadline is in another 3 or 4 weeks time. Okay, and that's the reason during at the end of the semester, few of my friends, they requested for an extension period from the lecturer. And the lecturer told all of them, if Shebs can complete it in less than 1 month, why must I give you an extension period? So basically, they know the secret, and they keep on calling me the machine. So I didn't know how to stay, how to stop. I love to do things. I love to do research papers, and I love to meet people. And at the same time, I am lacking of having fun here in Sydney, because to me, to be frank with you, I sold my house over there in Malaysia. I sold all my gadgets. I love gadgets. I sold everything to cater for my study here in Sydney. I sold everything, and I started using that Nokia. Yeah, previously, 2009, the first iPhone was launched. I sold my iPhone, and I used back my Nokia phone just to be here. I sold everything, so that for me, I can use everything that I have to increase my knowledge over here. Okay, and there's one lecturer, his name is Dr. Paul Ryder. He said, Shebs, it's good for you to study here. It's good for you to complete your paper. But please have fun in Sydney. Please have fun in Australia. Please have fun being a student. Yeah? Yeah, sorry? Yep. But then to me, I came here to study, not to have fun. Not to have fun. But yes, I miss that fun thing in Sydney. But nevertheless, I thanks God, I completed my studies, and when I went back to Malaysia, I got few jobs with few positions until I decided early this year to resign from my job in oil and gas company to open up my own company, Shebs PR Empire, where I did all communication and publication, dealing with publication and communication matters, and I'm so-called a consultant for this field. Okay, to share with you about being an Asian, right? The first thing when I deal with one of my when I came here, okay, my friend, I do not want to mention from which country because it is recording. So she said that this lecturer is a killer lecturer. Her name is Dr. Gwyneth Howell. She is a killer lecturer. She told me that, but not for me. Dr. Gwyneth Howell is a very, very nice person. I'm supposed to meet her actually at 1 o'clock today, but in South Campus. But I didn't get the chance. I didn't get the time to go there. She's very nice. It's all because we respect. For me, I respect my lecturer, even though she is a killer lecturer to a certain student, but not for me. Probably that student didn't do the assignment right. Didn't submit the assignment on time. Probably, but as for me, I completed on time. I did everything that she requested me to do, or extra mileage to everything that she asked me to do, and I submitted everything on time. And she did ask me, Shebs, why when you talk, you always bow? Because in my culture, you are from Penang also, right? Normally we respect the elder. the elderly, and if we walk in front of the elderly, we will just bow down, right? She's from Thailand and she's also from Malaysia. So that's in my culture. And she also asked me why I keep on using this like this. Because in my culture, it's very irrespectful if we point the finger to someone else. Right? So we'll be using this one. Right? So that's one time, there was one time, one of my classmates, he had an argument with the lecturer. And he said, I'm not sure whether he said, I don't give a what you say, the word and with the finger. So my friend, Krisma from Philippines, she just, Shelby, is that acceptable in your culture? No. There's two things. Number one is the finger, number two is the language. But then the lecturer, she can just go to the table, can you tell me what's your point there? And it's a two-way communication actually. The lecturer doesn't get offended, but it's a sharing point of view over there. But in my country, you will get negative marks if you do that to the lecturer. Agree? In your country, how about in your country? Right? Same, right? Because that's how. But the thing is, what I love to be here is because of there's a two-way communication between the student and also the lecturers, and also among the staff. Two-way communication. We respect one another. Like, for example, we don't expect others to respect our Asian culture, but we have to respect others' culture too. For example, you're from Russia, right, brother? And you're from where? I didn't get you this time. From India, yeah. So I'm half Indian actually. Namaste. Okay. So basically, for example, like in Australia, their culture is, for example, they really respect two people, especially the foreigners, and they respect the authorities over here. So, for example, like in Asia, I'm so sorry to say, I would say that the example from Malaysia, sometimes they don't respect the authorities back in Malaysia, but over here, the Australian people, they really respect to the authorities. So, as a nation, as a newcomers here, we should respect, we should comply to the culture over here. So that is going to be like an intercultural communication. In communication, we have intercultural communication, where we share our culture together, so that we will not be in an argument, and there's no barrier between one another, right? So basically, I would say that in moving forward, I say that your performance must be performance beyond performance. It's whereby you must be passionately driven to exceed expectation. No matter whether in your studies, in your life, in your love, relationship, everything. You must have the passion in order for you to move forward. Okay, that's why I keep on telling to my friends, I keep on telling to everyone, this is what you must have within you in order to survive, not only in this industry. And then you also must have that you build your ownership. Build your ownership. For example, like now I'm building my own brand. It's Shebs PR Empire. It's my own brand, right? I have it here on my ring, Shebs. I have it here on my watch, Shebs. My own building. I even when I reach here just now, I posted on the Facebook. I am the product of Western Sydney University. I'm here, finally here. I'm the product because I carry the brand of WSC also. So for all of you, if you are still here after you completed the study, you are still here, you are still carrying the name of your university. And if you go back to your country, you are still carrying the name, the brand name of Western Sydney University. Like yesterday, when me and my family we went for shopping at Darling Harbour. Darling Harbour, there's one shop over there. I've spoken to the sales representative, and she is a UNSW student, psychology student, okay? And I told her that I'm coming here today to WSU, and she said she's thinking to further her study here in WSU. And I thought all good things about WSU to her. Because that's part of the branding, where you brand, you carry it, you build, you own, and you carry the ownership of all the brands that you carry with you. your name, your family, and also linguistic. Okay? And you must complete any given task wholeheartedly. The assignment, what I meant just now. Be it whether they call you the machine, whether they call you the lazy person, but you have to complete it 100%. I even argued with my lecturer where there's only 1 mark to separate me between high distinction and distinction. I fight positively with the lecturer to get that 1 mark to get high distinction. Sorry, to get high distinction. I fight with him because I'm here not to just to have leisure, but I'm here to study and to get a higher mark for me to bring back the knowledge and skills back to Malaysia and to bring up the people in Malaysia over there. Even with 1 mark, you have to argue with lecturer. You have to do very, very well because so that your degree, your certificate will be, I would say that very beautiful over there. Yeah. And you must be human oriented. Don't be like me. I'm a machine, right? You must have fun in doing whatever you do best, especially in doing your research paper. You must have fun in doing it so that you can feel it and can put all the knowledge, the skills that you had before, and also the new skills in your paper. And at the same time, you must uphold your professional growth in any environment, in any field. Please, again, don't be like me. Go outside the campus, meet people, have that corporate social responsibility activity over there. Meet people, make yourself, make new friends over here. Yeah. But the most important thing is to have a mutual respect to one another, because we have I was told that the culture in Australia, they respect all religion. There's no racism over here. There is no racism. Even in Malaysia there is racism, but not in here in Australia. They respect. I was very shocked because when I want to perform my Friday prayer, I have to go back. I have to go all the way to Auburn. There's a Turkey mosque over there. I think we have to travel about 1 hour from Kingswood campus. But then I met one Aussie student. She said there is a small prayer room in Kingswood campus, and the Arab student, they perform the Friday prayer over there. I didn't know, and I didn't know there's a pamphlet. What you should know about Islam. It's a very positive pamphlet here. So basically, there's a pamphlet on Islam, on Hinduism, on the Buddhist, on Christianity, everything is there for us to learn and to know, to increase our knowledge on every religion so that we can have a mutual respect between one another. And don't ever have an argument with your classmate, with your lecturers, never. Have respect, and try to have a two-way communication with them. And you must have empowerment where you strive your very best to reach the highest level of competence with excellent argument to perform. This is what I meant when you are writing a paper, your research paper, you have to put yourself 100% full-heartedly in completing your papers, because the knowledge that you will gain from in doing your papers is a lot of things basically. Because, for example, in my own experience, when I'm back in Malaysia, when I did my degree, I will only rely on 5 books as a reference. But over here, it's more than 30 books. It's part of the requirement, and you have to also have like book review. And I'm very proud when my lecturer used one part of my research paper for her journal publication, and I'm very proud. And his name is Dr. Paul Ryder. He used my diagram, the diagram that I created on communication and public relation. He used my diagram for his journal and for his research. He's a doctor, he's a lecturer, and he acknowledged my name in his book and in his journal. I'm very proud for that. So basically, you have to have your own product. When you leave here, you can say that, oh, that statement quoted from my research paper. Yeah? And you must be resourcefulness, think outside the box. Okay, we are from various countries. You can ask anything from one another. You can share knowledge. You can share the skills and try to. It's just like a wet cloth. Yeah, try to squeeze everything from your friend and lecturers. Try to get information. That's the metaphor behind it. try to squeeze everything and try to get more information so that you can improve yourself here and also improve the input and information in your paper, in your studies. And finally, there will be a miscommunication. There will, okay, among your friends. Even, for example, like in my own experience, one of my friends, she said that always use she, because over here I have lots of female friends here compared to male friends. Okay, and she said that she don't understand my English. Okay, but then my lecturer, who is an Australian, she can understand my English. So don't listen to one side. Listen to like just now I mentioned. This person told me that she's a killer lecturer, but she's not. So never listen to one side. In communication, you must have all the information in your hand. You must join the dots, and then from all the when you already join the dot, you already got the whole information. Then you know what is the real truth behind the statement. Yeah. And you have miscommunication. Never pointing fingers. When I did my master, we solved the problem without getting the involvement of our lecturers, because this is just among us. Yes, there will be time where you are going to have like an argument with your friends, who especially in group assignments, where you perform more than what he or she is doing. For example, like you have a friend in your group assignment who is some kind of parasite. She or he just be in a group to put the name, but doesn't want to contribute in the research paper. You may have that, but try to solve it among you. Don't never get involved with the lecturer of this in this situation. And finally, your brand. You must have your own brand. Be proud of yourself. You are presenting yourself, your family, your country, and finally you are presenting Western Sydney University. So all the best to you. Try to work hard, try to study hard, and don't be a machine like me. Have fun here in Sydney. Right. Thank you.
Welcome. That was short and sweet. That was lovely. I think as international students that resilience is really, really important. It's important to feel proud of who you are. It's important to carry that confidence. It's important to understand the culture. Many of you are here for the first week. As international students, you have added advantage and privilege because we all look after you. We all look after you a little bit more than we look after our domestic students, I would say. So there's lots and lots of services and facilities that the university offers, and you guys, like, I'm quite happy that I saw some of you at the event at the orientation, and you've attended this little workshop. I'm really, really proud and very happy. And take Sheb's advice, and I think he's talking from drawing upon his own experience as an international student, except for the fact that don't argue with your lecturers. But definitely our lecturers are open to discussions, and please feel free to meet them and put your point of opinion out to them, and I'm sure they'll be happy to listen to you. Once again, thank you so much for coming and talking to our students. Now we have Jackie Simpson and Iman from the careers unit, who is going to do a presentation and also some activities for you guys to get to know each other, and some tools and strategies to improve your graduate outcomes in terms of jobs. So stay with us and enjoy the workshop.
Hi.
Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, Iman. How many of you in the room are postgraduate students? Almost. Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Well, my name is Jackie, and I'm from the careers team, and I'm the head of the career education consultants, so we look after doing workshops. And you might see us sometimes, we do consultations if you would like to, if you have any issues around, not exactly sure how to progress in your career. We have workshops, we have hotline, we have a few different towards the end. And we'll. Do you have a sign-on sheet at all? Because if I can collect your student numbers and your, if I meant to bring up a piece of paper.
That's okay, I can organise one very quickly, yeah.
And then I can send you the slides at the end, because there's links on the slides that you might want to follow up with. Yeah. Okay, so we thought we'd start by getting you to be a little more mobile. And so this activity is just to get you, I guess, interacting a little bit more. And so we'll go with the original activity, I think, because we've got enough people here. Can I ask you to come into the centre? So leave where you are at the moment and just come and stand somewhere near the centre. Shelley, would you like to join us in this one? You're come in and be the machine. Look, some of the greatest generals in history have been short, haven't they?
Yes. You got it.
Right. Okay, so the first thing I want you to think about, this is just so that we get a little bit, we can know who you've got in the group, and maybe you can also identify amongst yourselves who has some of the similarities to you. So the first thing I want you to think about is your degree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify, it's a bit like, I don't know, you may have played a game like this before, where you do aces and spades and hearts and something else, but we're going to do something a little bit like that, where if you happen to be of a particular category, I'll get you to go to one corner, and if you're another category, come to this corner, and then this corner and this corner, okay? So the first thing is, if you are a business student, I'll read out the categories first, and I'll ask you to move. If you're a business student, I'll get you to come down to this corner. So just hold for the moment, and then I'll get you to move all in one go.
That might be everybody, right?
Is everybody a business student, or we've got people who are something else? Okay, all right, let's try. Anybody who's not business? Okay. Okay, so maybe we'll just take a hand show on this one. You're not business, or what?
I'm ICT student.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you.
Social work.
Social work? Okay, good.
IT as well.
IT as well. Communication. Okay. And I'm guessing that. So, how many people? Is there anybody who is not has not arrived in the last month? Anybody who's been here longer than a month? There's a few. Okay, so we'll try this. We'll try this one. If you have arrived in the last week, I'll get you to go to that corner. If you've arrived in the last month, then you go to this corner. If you've been longer than a month, so up to 6 months in that corner. If it's longer than 6 months, go over in that corner. Okay? So this is the week. 3 months, so that's up to 6 months. Right? So this is 1 week. This is just 1 month, up to 1 month. 1 week is over here.
I think we would be both would be doing
Over here we've got
this corner.
1 month.
Longer than 6 months.
And then if you've been longer than 6 months, it's over there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a bit of a spread. Right, these are all newbies, all right? Okay. And 1 month, 2 weeks, okay, right? And 1 month, okay, and 3 months, okay. And you guys, a year and a half, you're an old woman.
Yes.
2 years.
In terms of how long you've been there.
3 years.
What about for you guys? How long?
2 years.
Yeah, that's right.
9 months.
9 months. Yeah,
A year and a half.
right?
Almost 1 year.
Okay. All right. So our senior is this lady who's been for 2 years. Right. Okay. All right. So let's try another category then. This one is about the type of experience that you have in your field. So we will start with people who have, and this can be both either here or overseas. Okay. So if you have no degree-related experience in your field, I'll get you to go to that corner in a moment. If you have something like volunteer work or unpaid experience or an unpaid internship, that'll be this corner. If you've had some sort of degree-related experience, we'll come over into this corner. And if you've got work experience, yeah, okay, so it's totally to do with your degree. So if you've got no experience, there. If you've got volunteer or something like that to do with your degree, over here. And if you've got some paid experience in your degree, over in this corner. It could be overseas or in Australia. Okay, off you go. So none, volunteer or unpaid, paid. Okay. Alright, so again we've got a bit of a mixture. So for those of you who haven't had any experience, these are the people we need to talk to. Right? Make sure you don't let them out of the room before you have a chat to them, because they've obviously got some experience to share. And since we're talking to people who, let's talk to this group now. So most of you are new to Australia, aren't you? Okay, so that's one of the reasons why you don't have any experience in Australia. But what about you guys? Is there any of you that have got experience in Australia in your degree?
Yes, I'm working in the uni as an IT service desk.
Yes.
You know that.
That's right. So, and okay, so experience in the uni. Anybody else who's working here in Australia in their degree field?
I'm working for my boyfriend this year.
Okay,
Yeah.
here in Australia?
Yeah.
Okay.
I work as a senior manager for his company.
Okay, great. Okay. And anybody else? So you other guys have got experience overseas. Right, okay. And so can I see, if you think about having like 5 years experience or more as being like this, and like 6 months is down here, can I get you to raise your hand to the level of experience that you have overseas or anywhere? Yeah. So we've got a few sort of senior members who've got quite a bit of experience. Okay, and some who are starting out. Okay, great. So that just gives us a bit of a feel for, sort of the mix of who we've got in the room. Now we have one here that's, we've got people who are doing their bachelors over here, people who are doing their masters over here, people who are doing PhD over here. All masters. Okay, right. Is anyone doing an MBA?
Yeah.
Hands up for MBAs. Okay. Hands up for a Master of Accounting. All right. What else we got? Master of Finance. Anybody not Master of Accounting or not MBA? What else have we got?
Computer communication.
Communication.
Master of Management.
Management. I guess we've got a couple of IT. Yeah. Okay. Great. Now the final one. Iman, would you like to direct this one? About which soccer team that you now support? Given that it's World Cup time.
I love Brazil. But let's categorise this.
So maybe
Groups, okay.
she's our expert, our soccer expert, our football. I said soccer, didn't I?
Yes, it's football, that's the correct term, but in Australia we do call it soccer. Okay, I'm going to just pick some of the more popular teams. So if you're a Brazil supporter like myself, stay over here. You're supporting Germany, my favourite over there. You're supporting France, this corner here, and Australia over here.
Does anyone follow football?
Yeah.
World Cup, is anyone watching the World Cup?
No.
If you're watching the World Cup in Australia, you're not getting much sleep.
Yes.
Because the earliest games are on at 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then it goes at 1 o'clock and 4 a.m. So you'd be coming to university like a zombie.
So if you're a non-supporter of soccer,
Stand in the middle.
stay in the middle here. But otherwise we've got what? We've got
Brazil, Germany, France, Socceroos.
And what about other
Australia.
teams?
Sorry?
What about other teams if you are supporting?
Well, we just picked the 4 of the popular ones, but if you support the other teams, you could stand there.
Which one are you supporting?
Portugal.
Portugal, yes, Ronaldo. Yeah, Ronaldo lovers.
Okay, so make a choice. If you have a different team, you can stay in the middle, I guess. And if you don't know what football is, you can come to
You
the
don't care about football.
Australia. Oh.
Yes.
So where's our Brazil? Brazil's over here.
Okay. You tell me so. Yeah.
Okay.
Standing on his own.
Portugal.
These people are not sure. Yes.
Yeah.
And you guys
a
are
few Socceroos supporters and a few that are sticking with France.
with France. Okay. 3 Socceroos, hey? I guess if you are making bets, you probably would be best, you know, most of you are going to be much better off. Because if they're supporting them, probably I'm guessing Australia's not going to get through. Very far.
Okay. We'll see what happens tonight. They're playing tonight actually. So the second game tonight.
Okay, so I'll get you to take your seats again. Thank you for that activity. And I'll hand over to Amanda Logan.
We've got a few activities to get through. The first activity, I just want everybody to be open and honest. Okay, no one's going to take offence to anything, including myself, because we are going to address some sensitive sort of topics at the moment. So whatever gets said and done in this room stays in this room. There's no hard feelings. I just want to make that clear before we get started. I'm going to pass around some post-it notes. And just if everyone can grab a few post-it notes, please.
You get to do some kids' crayons.
So everybody needs a post-it note, and you'll need a pen.
And a crayon or a pen.
Or a crayon, something to write with.
I've got ones there if you want something more fancy.
And if I can just direct your attention to the back end of the room, I've actually put some maps on the wall, and I'll explain why. Each of these different maps are different regions, different parts of the world. Everybody comes from somewhere. Okay? I come from Australia. I was born and raised here. But everybody here is international students, so most of you don't come from Australia. You're coming from some particular background. And this is an exercise just to get to know everyone, familiarise yourselves with one another, and just to build some cultural awareness as well. So as I say each of these different regions, I want you to write the first 3 things that come to mind. Okay, I don't want you to think about it. I don't want you to think, oh, what should I say? What's the correct thing to say? I want you to just write the first 3 things that you associate with that particular culture. Okay? So how about...
And it'll be one on each post-it note.
Yeah.
Don't put them all on the one
Yeah,
post-it
because
note.
we're going to stick them around each of the maps afterwards.
One
Okay.
thing each.
One thing on each post-it note,
For
and
our
you'll have 3
culture,
post-it notes. Sorry?
3 words for our culture.
No, for the cultures, or for the regions.
So for example, if we start with, for example, the Middle East, which is that colourful one at the back over there. Okay, I was born in Australia, but I do have a Middle Eastern background. So I want you to think, or we'll all start with this one. I want you to write the first 3 things that come to mind when you think of the Middle East, or a Middle Eastern person, an Arab. Okay, what do you think? And like I said, I'm not going to get offended if someone writes terrorist. Okay, because what gets said in here, we're being open, we're being... It shouldn't take long because, like I said, you shouldn't be thinking about it for too long. Just instant thoughts, please. Okay, we've got Asian. So when you think of Southeast Asian, okay, anyone from Southeast Asia, what do you think of whenever you think of an Asian? So again, write the title at the top and then whatever your thoughts are. 3 thoughts. It can be anything, whatever comes to mind.
The 3 post-it notes is going to be the easiest way to do it.
The second person, no?
Asian, Southeast Asian. Okay, African. What do you think of when you think of Africa? European. Our answers will determine how honest we are. Indian subcontinent.
That probably includes Pakistan,
Bangladesh,
down to
yeah,
Sri
Pakistan,
Lanka.
Sri Lanka, the whole lot, the whole region. And then Pacific Islander. Fiji, Vanuatu, all the different little islands anywhere around there, Tonga. Is that 6? Have we covered 6 of them? Yeah?
Okay, this is going to be a race now.
Okay, you need all your post-it notes, and what you need to do is, first of all, is you need to go and put all of your post-it notes on the wall around all of the maps. And then the second part is you need to go and stand with the region that you affiliate with. Okay, so if you're from the Middle East, you go to the Middle East. If you're from Africa, you go and stand in Africa, and whatever it may be. Okay? Go.
What if I am from South America?
You're from South America. We end up doing them. I think we forgot to do that one.
Pick a continent that you like.
Yeah, choose somewhere that you like.
Okay.
Sorry.
Holiday.
We did talk about it, but I don't think we printed it off. Okay, so take your post-it notes, please. Go and put them on the wall and go and stand next to the region that you associate with.
Yeah, put them next to the what?
Put the wall around
maps
the
where
map,
you
yeah,
think
so we
they're.
have enough time.
On that one,
Yeah,
yep.
more space, yeah.
So hopefully they'll. So then we're looking for, have a look at the words and see if you can come up with 1 or 2 words that describe how you feel when you look at those words and what people have written there. Of course, we're talking about stereotypes here, aren't we?
How do you put that?
It might stick better. Will it stick on the map itself?
I do think that I did it, but
One of them.
Okay.
okay. Now I'm just going to go around quickly, and if everyone can just give one word to describe how reading those post-it notes has made them feel. So we'll just start over here. So how did you feel reading them? Someone want to volunteer to talk? Yeah? Sorry? So how does that make you feel? Do you find it offensive? Do you feel happy, upset?
So maybe our large group at the back, you can have a quick chat about what words that, what are some of the words that come up for you, so that you've got your words ready and prepared for when we go around. And what happened with this group over here?
How are you feeling? Proud?
Feeling
A lot of positive comments over here. So this group over here, the Asian group, is feeling quite happy and proud. They're pleased with their responses, which is a good thing. Okay. Over here, you're not from the Middle East, but you're pretending to be. Sorry, I apologize.
How are you feeling, man?
How do I feel? I'm going to have a quick look. And these are all positive. I think everyone's being really nice. We do have war here, which is unfortunately associated with the region, but there are other, yes, there is bomb over here as well, okay. I didn't see that one. But otherwise there's food and culture and future wife one day.
I think that's mine.
Okay, so yeah, these are all positive. I'm not offended by any of these, or most of these. Okay, what about in Africa?
Oh God. Well, I'm just surprised. Most of them have not been to Africa, so I don't understand. Except this.
What's that one?
Food, culture, people. Okay.
They are so cultural.
Yes.
And the two
So,
religious.
okay, so how do these
For
make
this
you
one?
feel?
Bad.
Okay, that's a good answer. Good. Okay, I have been to South Africa and I loved it. Yeah, okay, what about over here, the Indian subcontinent? How are you guys feeling?
We are actually feeling proud. That's who we are. So we have monkeys on the road going on while you're driving. So don't feel bad if you smash your car over there. Then we are proud of the India, Narendra Modi. If anyone knows.
He's the
Prime Minister. He is the Prime Minister of India and very well known across the world.
But one
Other
is
than that, there is food. Obviously, we are Indian, so we have the chatakas, that is called the spices. So yeah, we are actually proud.
Okay, and European, Russia? Yep.
Yeah, cold weather, accent, Europe, trip, amazing landscapes, tourism, stuff like this.
So
I'm okay.
positive. I'm happy with the responses. Good. And we don't have anyone from the Pacific Islanders?
No, I don't. I'm sure they'll be very proud. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's good,
So-
only good things to celebrate.
So that's interesting, isn't it? And the one negative one that we had that you said you felt bad or it wasn't so good. But you highlighted that probably not too many people have been there, and that's often what happens. That's sorry, I'm jumping.
How many people in the room have been from have visited the Middle East as well? Show of hands. Anyone? A few. Okay. And have any of you actually been to Africa?
No.
Okay. Right. So most of our opinions are formulated from what? Where do we get our opinions from?
From the movies,
From
the
movies,
news.
media, number one. If you watch the media, as I said to Jackie the other day, if you watch media, you'd think that I'm an oppressed woman who gets bashed by a husband and
Yes.
is a terrorist and everything else, because that's what you're told to believe. Okay, and the reason why we're doing this activity is to build cultural awareness, cultural diversity. Australia is a very multicultural environment, and Western Sydney University is no different. Every culture you will find here, every religion you will find here. Okay, so we wanted to do this as an introductory sort of activity to make you aware of other people's perspectives, so that you can just have a little bit of a think about it as we get into the other activities that we've got planned for you.
So one of the things that when most of you, I'm guessing, would like to do some sort of work while you're here, you're looking. How many of you, can I see a show of hands, will be looking for a job while they are here in Australia? Okay. And I guess when I know from speaking to most students, is that it would be great if you can find a job that is related to your field. Yeah. But that's the hard part. And one of the lessons that most people will find is that it's a series of stepping stones. And in terms of getting a job in your field, oftentimes you will have to, first of all, get a job from a different field. And that's, you might start in a student type job where it's not related to your field at all, but where you're learning different things. And that's where the cultural awareness comes in. Because when you're looking for a job, an employer, one of the first things they are looking for is for you to fit in with their team. And when we travel, we tend to, as travellers, we get a very quick view of the world. We don't get that sort of deep view of what's really going on. And often if we don't, you guys are at an advantage, you've all got the English language, so you at least can hear what's going on around and understand it. Whereas, for instance, I went and I worked in Vietnam, and if I looked at everybody around me, it looked like everybody was having fun and everybody was lovely. But my friends would tell me, no, you don't hear what they're saying you know, when they're making those jokes. Like, I'm thinking that everybody is happy with everybody, and I didn't see any animosity amongst people. But they said that's just because I didn't know the language, so I couldn't see the differences. So one of the things that people don't see is Australian culture, as in we are all part of Australian culture, but many people don't see the Anglo Australian culture, and they don't. It's a little bit harder to recognise because it looks like American culture, it looks like European, it maybe looks like New Zealand, but in fact it's quite different. And getting to know what is different about it is one of the secrets to getting a job here. So it's not that they don't like other perspectives, but when in the workplace, it's sort of expected that you'll have an Australian perspective. So we just want to give you a few tips on how you can get started in terms of some of those things. Now look, we've come to, we're 5:05. How are you feeling about staying on for another 10 minutes? Is there anybody that, if you need to go, we understand, don't want to hold you here under force, but I can give you, in 10 minutes I can tell you about our services, and I can give you a couple of things that are coming up that you might like to join in with, particularly for international students, in terms of employability skills, building your employability skills. So, how are we going?
Yeah, I think it's a really important piece of information,
yeah.
So if we can wrap up, can I take your seats? Would you like them to take their seats?
Yeah, come back. Thank you, Rose. Okay, don't worry about it. So one of the things to first of all think about is that if we went back to when I was, before I left school, but back in the early 70s, when we looked at the idea of getting a degree, only about 2% of the population had a degree in the 1970s. And so at that stage, if you had a degree, you would walk out of university and walk straight into a job. And I guess in some of the countries that you've come from, if you go to a particular university, you would be able to walk out of there with a particular degree and straight into a job. Yeah. These days, this is statistics in Australia, and I imagine that it's not so dissimilar around the world. There's about almost a quarter, 25% of people have got degrees. So a degree is not a ticket to a job anymore. You need much more than just your degree. Right, thanks. So what we've done.
Can everyone see this?
A little bit hard.
Yes.
Let's keep going. So when we talk to employers and we ask them about what they want from when they're looking for graduates, and this goes for if they're looking for interns. So for many of you, you might get a chance to do an internship or some part-time work while you're here. But what employers are looking for is not a qualification, because so many people have a qualification, that's easy to find. What they are looking for, and this is in number from 1 to 10, the number one thing they're looking for, can you read what it says? Interpersonal and communication skills. So that's number one, before any technical skills, before any other qualification. Number two, drive and commitment, together with industry knowledge. So still not experience or skills, but knowledge. And that's a secret for you guys. You guys can get industry knowledge even before you get experience, by reading the right things, by your classes, by talking to the right people. You don't need a job to get knowledge. Okay? Number three, then it's about using your critical reasoning, your analytical skills, and only then does technical skills come up. Number three. And so in most of your fields, you guys have already got technical skills because this is your second degree. So you would have gained some of those skills in your first degree. So you've got that going for you. And then we go down to academic results. And I'm guessing that many of you have got good academic results. In order to travel and to do well in your country, many of you would have good academic results. So you've got those things. Number six is where work experience comes in. So all the ones above that are about attitude. We'll send you these slides. If you filled in, did we send her a paper? Yeah, so put your name on that and we'll send you the slide so you can have a look at in more detail. We have the next one. The next one is a slide, this one was from Australia. This one is looking at universities across the world.
Just move them out.
And again, it's looking at number one in terms of people naming quality of the skills that globally looking for in terms of improving your employability. Again, number one is communication. And then it's problem solving and thinking, adaptability, initiative, collaboration, creativity, education, intelligence, empathy. And then we go down. All of those are about attitudes. And they are all things that you guys can offer to employers. So when you're thinking, you know, I don't have experience, experience is not the top thing that employers are looking for. They're looking for your ability to communicate, to get on with the team, to fit in, to think analytically and critically. So these are all things that you can very much claim as skills that you have. But the hardest way to demonstrate it is the number one thing that they're looking for, and that's through communication. So your number one thing to do in your first 6 months is make sure you become familiar with how communication happens in this culture. Right? Every culture is different, but you need to adapt to what are the things that happen in this culture. So just, has anybody got an example? Some of you have been here for a while. Can you think of an example of how you've had to adapt to the Australian culture? Anyone give us an example? Yes.
For example, back in my country, arriving on time is not usual.
Yeah, okay.
So here we have to adapt. So we have to arrive on time.
Okay.
Less.
So showing respect for workplace is you arrive on time. The same as you go for an interview, you must arrive on time. And yes, it's not the same in all cultures.
I would like to add on, I work as an IT service desk analyst within the university, and as I'm an Indian, we have to pay respect. We can't name the people who are elder in age or in relation. And within the university, if I have my colleagues who are elder than me, and if I say Mr. or Miss or Mrs. in front of their name, even they themselves don't like, and my manager came to me, why are you saying Mr.? I said, it's part of my culture, I can't name them. She said, no, you're in Australia now, you don't have to name anyone Mr. or Miss. You have to like pronounce their name directly. It was hard for me because I've never done it in past 20 years, but now I have adapted and started naming people.
That's right. And the thing is, for somebody who is older, so myself, you know, now that I'm 60, you know, I'm thinking, oh, I'm old. No, how come you call that person by their first name and they're young, and I'm Mr. Mrs. So-and-so? It makes me feel old. So in our culture, being old is not necessarily a status like it might be in other cultures. So that's a good example, yeah. So those small adaptations show that you have caught up with what's going on around you. And that shows to an employer that you are going to be able to fit in with the team and do the services that are required. Okay?
I have a funny example, sorry, as an international student, you know, so some of the ways of, the way you phrase some of the things in your language is different, and we literally translate it into English. So, you know, in India, we have the habit of saying, I passed out of year 12 in 1970 or 1997. And I said this to somebody and they were like, you passed out? So passed out in Australia means you fainted, you fell unconscious. So, you know, little things like that you have to teach yourself to adapt.
And what that shows is that you have, it's like when you are in a new group. Let's say you go and you start, you suddenly become a quilt maker, you know, making quilts. When you join, first of all, you don't know the terminology. When they say, find the thimble, and you go, what's a thimble? Or, you know, please pass this quarter. And what's a quarter? And then once you have become part of the team, part of the group, you know those phrases, you know, those words that are what the group knows. You have the same in your families, you know, there are jokes that are only your family knows, but it means that you're part of the group. And so it's really important to do that when you're trying to become part of the employment, part of the workers. Okay. If you just press the forward button. This one. Just wait for that. Okay. Right. Okay. So some quick tips, and I'll race through some of these. We have some things. If you go onto our website, we have a section there particularly for international students. So we've got lots of other things there, but click on the international students and move on to the next slide, and you will come to the international student page, and from there you will have a whole lot of information and resources that is just for international students. You know, things about tax file numbers, things about different information about finding jobs, websites, different things like that. So have a look at our international students page. That's a very useful one. Next one. Oh, and while we're here, our jobs page over here, all of the jobs that we have in the university that we advertise for our students is in that page. Click on there, Career Hub. And Career Hub, you just use your student number to log in. Those jobs are only for Western Sydney students, so you have a much better chance of getting those jobs. And for those of you who have some experience already, you'll find that there are jobs within the university where they are called the jobs on campus, and they pay very well, about $35 an hour, but because they pay well, it's quite competitive. So it's quite hard to get those jobs, and we know when we advertise those jobs, we might have 100, 150 applicants, right? Whereas some of the other jobs, there might only be 2 or 3. So, Pallavi got a job through our Jobs on Campus, and now that's why she's working in IT. Okay, another thing to do, make sure that you go and update your LinkedIn profile. Make sure it's a professional profile. We have some workshops on that. We've got some information. So if you want any other information on these things, give us a call on the hotline on any day between 10 and 1 o'clock. It was on that last page. You'll see it when the slides come around. Yes. Okay. So we've got our contact numbers over here. The hotline's here. Make sure you give us a call. Next one. So LinkedIn's very good. Another place that is just for graduate and internship type jobs is called Graduate Connection. It has jobs in Australia, but it also has jobs in Asia. So you can sort by the type of job, you can look for internships, you can look by the country that it's in, you can set up your profile, and you can say what your residency status is, and then employers can search for you. So a good place to put your profile. Next one. So you've got 2 profile places, LinkedIn plus the Graduate Connections. If you're thinking about going home, we have a site. Remember I said about that international students page? This one is called Going Global, and it has lots of information about how you can find jobs in your home country, or if you're going to some other country, it's got a lot of information there. Next page. So Going Global looks a little bit like this. Okay, next. When we talk to employers from overseas, they say a number of things about the fact that they really like international students to come home because they have lots of good things to say about international students. And particularly they say that because you have travelled and you've had to adapt overseas, you have become much more creative in your problem-solving skills. So they very much recognise your ability to solve problems because you have had to travel. They say you've got better life experience. And they particularly say that your English language skills have usually improved because you've had to travel. So when you return, you have all of those additional things over the local students. Now there's one thing that has a difficulty when you return home, that employers tell us anyway, is that people don't come home with very realistic expectations of salary. So once particularly if you've come and worked in a developed country, the salary levels are higher, And when you go home, if you're expecting those same salary levels, it's a problem. So employers say that's the only downside, is that your expectations are not so realistic as previously. And of course, it depends on the country that you come from. Okay, next one. Internships. International students can apply for internships. Just bear in mind that oftentimes employers are looking at an internship. They like students for internships because you bring new ideas and you bring lots of information, and you might be able to work on a project for a short term. The only thing is they often view those people as possible workers for the future. So sometimes they like to choose interns who are going to be able to work for the next couple of years. So particularly useful if you've got a bridging visa, or you're hoping to continue on working here. But that's the only thing that employers might be, work that out with the employer, find out what they are offering and what they are expecting. Okay. And finally, we've got a couple of events coming up that are only for international students. Who's heard of Toastmasters? Okay, one. Toastmasters is an international organisation that teaches people about public speaking. And it's really good because it's all about communication skills. And it's in a fun sort of way. They meet weekly. They do fun things like you have to practice a joke and you have to bring to the group, and you have to then say your joke in a very good way, or you have different fun games to do. And you have mentors that help you. You have people that continue to give you advice, and they will give you lessons in communication, etc., etc. We're going to be starting one up here very soon, and it's going to be on this campus. So watch for, if you go on to, make sure you get onto Career Hub, and we will make sure that we send you out information. We'll send out information through the international students' newsletters and things like that. So keep an eye on that. That's a really good one. And we've also got this program called Interchange. Interchange is an opportunity for you to get involved with the other universities from around Sydney, and it's an entrepreneurial type activity where they put you into different groups, and you have to come up with some ideas about creating a startup. And it's a startup about a social enterprise. So meaning that it's a startup where it's going to be doing good for somebody in the community. So it's taking your ideas. And then it's a competition to see who has the best one. And the one that won, I think it was last year, or maybe it was the year before, was where the group organised or created an app or something where international students could match up with older people in their community here who might have had a spare room or somewhere where they could rent out. So the older people were wanting company and could have a room fairly cheap. International students needed somewhere to stay without it being too expensive, and so the app brought these people together, and they were the winners. So it's a really good competition. It runs across a couple of weekends. Gives you a chance to get involved, and there's lots of mentoring and lots of TED talk type talk speakers at these events. And it's held in at Darling Harbour. So great events. And there's a couple more coming up as well. So watch out for these type of events. These are the places where you can get a start and get some learning as well. You get training, you get a chance to mix in with people, you get a chance to talk to employers, go out and visit employers in some of these activities. And it's a good way to start to build your employability skills. So, if you've forgotten any of that, have a look at the slides when they come around, and go onto our website, give us a call on the hotline and say, I heard something about Interchange, what was that about? Can you tell me? We can give you that information, or watch out for the newsletters as they come around. Okay, we've been racing, but I hope that's okay. Is there any burning question or?
Yes.
Okay.
About Toastmasters, when are we expecting to start?
Okay, we're going to have a demonstration meeting, which will be August the 8th or something like that. Maybe I'll try and put a link on the slides when I send them around, so that it links to that particular activity. Yeah. So click on the slide, and it'll take you to the information about it. Yeah.
Will it be paid for uni students?
Initially it will be, it's going to be very cheap. We will be subsidising it, yes. So it won't be very costly.
Actually,
Maybe
I
$10
went to
a credit.
Toastmasters Quaker Hill this Monday. Like I was knowing that, like as we discussed before, that we are having in uni, so I'm planning, like, shall I join here or pay for there?
Some people join too.
But
Yeah,
I do
but-
have, like,
I think it's a membership across all,
Yeah.
and then you have to pay for a meal sometimes at places. We won't be having a meal at this one. Join out, but go and have a look.
I did went there this Monday. But
I think if I were you, I would just take the opportunity in your hand first, and then
Yeah,
if it works out to join the university Toastmaster later, I would do that.
yeah,
That's
that's
the
good
opportunity.
advice. A bird in the hand. Anyway,
Thank you.
come and chat to me after if you have any other questions.
Do you have a question, Dave?
Yeah. Peter, I want to ask, is there any kind of workshop to show us how to write a good CV?
Yes. Yes.
So how can I keep in touch with this information?
So the website that I showed you first up, our website, it's on the front page there, and you will see up here, if you look under the international students, it will show you websites. If you go onto the front page, you can link to workshops here. Oh, sorry.
On the site.
So all the workshops will be
And
listed.
workshops up here, and it's got a listing of them. Yeah,
So the
in
workshops
those areas.
are conducted on a monthly basis?
Every week.
Almost all campuses?
Yeah, so here on Mondays, Thursdays over at the Parramatta South Campus, other days are on campuses.
It's everything related to finding work, writing submission criteria, adjusting your resume, interview skills.
Yeah.
So we encourage you to attend those.
Yes, and one more question. So is there any kind of mentor or career orientation? Is there any kind of such event
Mentors program.
or career orientation?
We don't have a mentor program.
Look, I think within the schools, they all have some sort of programs that are run in silos, mentoring programs. But the alumni office runs an e-mentoring program that is an online community. If you are interested in it, we are happy to help you connect with a graduate of the university who you can choose as a mentor. Speak with me after this event and I'll give you some details and you can get in touch. Yeah. But there is a program called the MATES.
Mates is within the university where you have somebody who's done the subjects that you're doing the year before, and they help you with your subjects. I'm not sure whether that's offered for postgrads.
No, I'm not sure
Not
either.
either.
How about I get some information? It is?
It is, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
And peer support, there is a program which is
Pass.
PASS.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
pass is, I don't know, some subjects have it, some subjects don't.
How about we collect some information regarding mentoring and I'll email it to you guys as well. Links to where you can get that information.
Okay.
Great, I'd love to have you guys stay back and have some food and drinks with us and have a bit more chat. But thank you so much, Jackie and Aman, for taking your time out to come all the way to Kingswood to have a chat with our students. I'm just personally moved by this little mini informal event, mainly because, to be honest, this is probably the first time I'm addressing a bunch of international students, and you've all taken the right step to actually come here. Although I spoke to 80 students in the room, but there's only a few students here. I think you are on the right track, and you've made that effort, and I think there's success not far away. Just a little tip in terms of job searching skills. My father always told me that treat your employers as your own child. What would your child, if you gave them 2 lollies, they might like for some more. And your child will always, if you want to tell your child, oh, in 20 years time, you want to be a doctor or an accountant or a tradesperson or PR or whatever you want to do, this is the journey you have to embark on. So you're creating that vision when you're telling that story. So I think that's exactly what I have been doing, and that was, I wouldn't say I'm a CEO of a company, but I'm proud of what I do and I'm very passionate about the job I have in this university, and that's only because I follow those little tips. So my secret of finding a job was always giving a little bit more than what they ask in the stage of when they're hiring you. If they're asking you to submit just a CV and a selection criteria, I always think about what more can I submit to, stand out, be the standout candidate, but they at least want to try, oh, let me at least call this person for an interview to see what that person has. So when I applied for a job at Western Sydney University as the Alumni Relations Manager, the one little extra piece of information that I gave was a projection of what the university can do in the alumni relations space. What new ideas can they implement? And simply by researching the organization information, simply by looking at how many thousands of alumni are on LinkedIn, I was able to put together just a one page of, like a strategy document to say that this is what my analysis of the university's future is, and this is the vision, this is how you can engage with your alumni, and just giving them a little bit more than just addressing exactly the criteria that they've asked for. At least I got an entry into the, got called for an interview, and then it's up to you to sell yourself and market and build that brand. So that's just a little tip from me for takeaway today, and thank you guys for coming and staying this long, and enjoy some food.